Hi guys, we are going to work today on creating a crescent shape with foam. This is one of my favorite shapes. It is a little bit more advanced than normal, but I think it's totally doable and I think you're going to enjoy it. Today we're going to be using a double design dish. It's in an oval shape, but you should be familiar with these. We've used them in beginning before. They have pegs down here at the bottom of the container so that you can shove your floral foam in and really anchor it. I gave you guys a full brick of foam, so make sure that you took the time to soak it properly according to the instructions. When you place it in here, you are gonna have a really tall chunk. So we are going to cut it down. So you're gonna need a kitchen knife to do that. And what I like to do is put my brick of foam in and take 2 fingers and rest them on the edge of the container. Above my second finger is where I should make that cut. I want 2 fingers above the edge of the container. So the foam should rest right above the edge, 2 fingers above, like that. Once you have that, we're ready to get going. Today we have 2 main flowers. We have carnations and green mist. We're gonna use those to really fill in the space. We have wax flower as our filler. And then we have 2 pieces of greenery. We have ruscus and we have leather fern. To achieve the curved part of the crescent, you're gonna wanna use the ruscus. Leather fern is way too rigid. That's gonna be to cover up the foam, camouflage it, and finish out the shape. But our curved piece is going to be ruscus. What you're gonna wanna do is pick a side to have your curve. I'm gonna go here. Got 3 pieces of ruscus to do the curve. We wanna use greenery first in this arrangement so we can establish our shape and then we can fill in the rest of the arrangement. How tall you put it is really up to you, personal preference. Next thing we're gonna do is use the leather fern pieces. We do want a couple to intermix with where the ruscus is joining so that there is a blended moment that happens. But then we're gonna continue to place them all throughout here. We're gonna want to angle down so we cover up the foam and kind of camouflage it. But you could also build up a little bit of a bed and then you could extend it out as far as you want it as well. When you get a piece of leather fern, you're gonna break off or separate all these leaflets. They're varying size. You're not gonna use it all off the main stem. So the pieces of leather fern I've given you, you've got a lot to work with. Once you've established your shape and bed, if you will, then we're gonna get to decorating it with our flowers. It's really up to you how tall and extended you've created the crescent. Some people like it to remain mostly green and they'll focus and concentrate your flowers down here. However, I have given you a lot, and carnation and green mist are pretty big, massive flowers. I like to also use the flowers to reinforce the shape. So I'm not gonna go as tall, but I might come like up to there. So it's really up to you. Again, we're trying to create kind of a one-sided arrangement, if you will, or you could display it maybe slightly angled, but I'm not gonna worry about the back. So when I put in my flowers, the carnations and the green mist, even though they are top visible, I'm going to tilt the stem and put it in at an angle so I'm seeing the face of the flower. If that makes sense. I'll demonstrate for you in just a little bit. So I'm gonna start with my carnations. Got 5 of them. I'm just gonna work my way through the arrangement, evenly spacing. I'll then reinforce that with the green mist. And then I'm going to use wax flower pieced out a lot like the leather fern and whatever extra I have of the fern, and I'm going to confetti in between and really focus on the bed as well. I want that bed to be full. Up here could be more airy, but down here should really be covered and full. It's also up to you in this section how flat you want it. I think when you are trying to achieve the curved shape, if everything is the same height right here, it takes away from that. So I'm going to actually vary the shapes, or the heights, so that it doesn't look like all one thing. So at this point, we have achieved our shape. We established that first. We've hopefully achieved balance by spreading our flowers out and also varying the height in the bed. And then our proper use of foam, we're mostly trying to focus on the camouflage aspect. We don't want to see the foam when we are looking at the finished piece. And then stability, we want to really make sure when we add stuff to the foam that we are first placing and checking before we push into it. That way we avoid the loose, wobbly stems because the hole is so big and gapy because we've gone in and out so much. I think you guys will be really successful with this. Let's go ahead and get into actually creating the piece together. Use what you can and do what you can to help hold the curve shape in the ruscus. I'm going to use some of the stems and a piece of floral wire and try to tack it down for a little bit while I'm doing some other things to kind of hold it in place and help it force that bend. And you'll see me release this later. It didn't really work because I only had it on for about 10 minutes, but if I had done this for a couple hours, it might have held better. You can also research some other techniques, including some warm water submersion online if you choose. In order for me to continue designing for you, I'm going to release my pin down ruscus. If I had it my way, when I am done, I would repin and let it hold for a couple hours to force that shape a little bit longer. All right, you guys, here's a look at our completed product of the Crescent. I would train mine a little bit more to hold that shape. They will hold as long as you bend them for a while. I also didn't soak these in water, that helps as well. So I would like these to curve a little bit more, but you know, it's not impossible. We finished out the shape. We have camouflaged our foam so that is hidden, and I varied the heights and mixed in the texture. So to me, it is covered and it is fulfilled. Now, one tip to make this last longer is to flip it around to the back. Remember, this is a one-sided arrangement, and you can literally fill water right here in the crack of the container. Fill it up as much as you can and just let it soak for 10 minutes. You should only need to add water every 2 to 3 days, depending on where you're keeping the arrangement. And if you do that, this could last anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. So keep her up, and we'll see you guys on the next one. I forgot to take individual photos of the pieces this time before making your take-home kits. So here is a photo of the finished product with examples of each item. Hopefully you can read through it with their prices. This slide is also posted on our Google Classroom with the assignment for your use.